Welcome to Review Said Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm good, man. It's Friday today. It is Friday.
It is Friday. On a Friday, we made it.
It's been a long week, bro.
I think we should probably start this episode off with a little bit of an apology.
Yeah.
We're a little late.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have a week where you're just beyond busy. Blairski, I know you had a big birthday for the daughter.
Yeah, my daughter's second birthday.
You had some exams this week.
Yeah.
It was a busy week for us.
It was. My parents were in town visiting.
Your parents were in town.
Yeah.
So all good, exciting things. But that just means we had to postpone a little bit. It happens.
It happens. It does.
But never late than never to review our latest film in the month, our final film of the month of May, aka Mother Dearest Month, a month dedicated to all the mother figures out there. And boy, am I excited about today's movie.
Me too, man.
But before we dive into that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news?
This is horror news.
Blairski, you got some horror news?
Well, buddy, when it comes to reviving beloved horror franchises, no one does it more frequently than Blumhouse. And once again, they are set to revive a beloved horror franchise with a new My Bloody Valentine film. Absolutely no other information on the who's, what's, when's, where's, why's, but it's happening and they are doing it.
The whys for sure. I mean, they're not even into their second movie of the Exorcist franchise, and they're already diving into My Bloody Valentine, which I believe the original was a Canadian movie. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was. The original was Canadian. I'm not sure about the remake. There is a remake of it. Both great films. Both are great films. The remake's pretty good too.
Yeah, 2009's My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Yeah, I saw it in 3D.
Did you really?
When it came out?
Theaters?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be. Just it is what it is, I suppose. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Finally, a new TV series is in the works from the studios of James Wan, so Atomic Monster, and Lindsay Beer. Her studio is called Beer Labs. The TV series is going to be titled 1313, which apparently is going to be a dark reimagining of the classic sitcom The Munsters.
Oh, no way.
No release date slated for this, and no other information other than the production team, of course. But the title of the show, 1313, comes from the Munsters' address, 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Excellent. Well, that'll be
something
interesting
to look forward to. Yeah, for sure, man.
Absolutely. So no timeline on that, but something to look forward to. The Munsters. Right. Rock and roll. Cool. I've got a couple pieces here. It's really exciting cast news regarding season 2 of The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. A series that I loved, a series that you just started watching.
Just started it, yeah.
Made me very excited, and a series that we haven't talked about for a while. But huge cast announcement. Academy Award nominee Jeffrey Wright has been cast as Isaac, the leader of the Washington Liberation Front, a big part of the second video game. So hopefully a big part in season 2. Jeffrey Wright is fantastic. Very, very excited about this cast announcement. Huge fan of the series, of the video game, and of course of Jeffrey Wright. So pretty cool.
Yeah, right on, man.
And then finally, I'm surprised you didn't mention this, but a massive cast announcement has been made for the upcoming Terrifier 3 film.
Oh, yeah.
as legendary makeup artist Tom Savini.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Known for his makeup work in Friday the 13th and Dawn of the Dead, just to name a few, will be making an appearance. No news on how big his role is, but believe it or not, I'm really excited about this Terrifier 3 news.
That's surprising to me, man.
Who would have thought? All it took was Tom Savini.
Yeah,
all it took was Tom Savini. Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. That's all I have for horror news. let's dive into this week's episode. The final episode in Mother Dearest month goes to 2019's Us. Runtime on this one, 1 hour, 56 minutes. Blairski, initial thoughts on the runtime?
It's a little long runtime, but I don't really care. It's a great movie, so I didn't really notice it too much.
Yeah, creeping in on 2 hours. It doesn't feel long.
No, it does not. No.
This movie gets you right from the intro, which we'll talk about momentarily, right into it. Yeah, an hour and 56 minutes. Perfect for this one. Fun facts. Blairski, got any fun facts for 2019's Us?
Well, this movie grossed $256 million worldwide on a $20 million budget, which is wild. That is a huge profit margin. However, it's important to note that the studio also spent an estimated $77 million on advertisements.
Wow. $77 million on
almost triple the amount it cost to make the movie on advertisements.
And this is another Blumhouse produced movie.
It is.
That's crazy. $77 million is what some production companies, that's the whole budget of the movie.
100%, including the movie and advertisement.
Wow. Unbelievable. Well, it worked.
Yeah, it really did. And it still made a killing, which is pretty awesome. The last fun fact I have here for this movie is it was inspired by the Twilight Zone episode Mirror Image, which centered around a young woman and her evil doppelganger.
As a fan of the Twilight Zone, I can ashamedly say I don't think I've seen that episode.
No, I haven't. But I also, to be fair, haven't seen many of the original Twilight Zone episodes.
Fair enough. Very cool. And I'm not surprised that it was inspired, as of course, Jordan Peele most recently revamped the Twilight Zone series, which is kind of cool.
He did indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a few pieces of news here. Lupita Nyong'o based her voice for Red off of Robert F. Kennedy.
Really?
Which is kind of neat. Yeah. Tons of references included in this one.
Mm-hmm.
We have references and nods to Alice in Wonderland, Friday the 13th, Funny Games, The Goonies, The Lost Boys, The Shining, Sid Vicious, and Nancy Spungen, just to name a few. Pretty cool. This one's jam-packed with references.
It really
around
is.
Every corner. Yeah. And then finally, I thought this was pretty neat, was the opening night premiere for the 2019 South by Southwest Film Festival in Austin, Texas. Pretty neat.
It was the premiere movie for it, eh?
It was the movie that it was not only its premiere, but it was also the premiere of the festival.
Oh, right on.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Okay, let's talk about the fine folks who worked on this film, because there's a lot of them.
There is, yeah.
Kicking it off, directed by the icon, legendary Jordan Peele. Also directed 2022's Nope, which is excellent.
Yeah.
And 2017's Get Out, which beyond excellent, nominated for an Academy Award for Best Director and Best Picture. Brilliant. This one directed, of course, by Jordan Peele. Also wrote Get Out, which did win the Best Original Screenplay Academy Award. Unbelievable for a horror movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's rare that a horror movie wins an Academy Award, but I mean, well-deserved. Jordan Peele Get Out was unbelievable.
I'm going to stop you there quickly because I read that Jordan Peele was actually upset because Get Out, by critics and audiences, no one really pinpointed it as a horror movie. No one could really pinpoint what genre of movie it actually was. So that was his reason for making Us, because he wanted to make a standalone, straight up horror film.
That was no doubt a horror movie.
That was no doubt a horror movie, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
I love that. Jordan Peele, of course, also credited for writing on 29 episodes of Mad TV, 55 episodes of the incredible sketch comedy show Key and Peele, 20 episodes of The Twilight Zone, which he also hosted, and the screenplay for 2021's Candyman, which I actually enjoyed. Did we see that in theaters?
We did. I actually saw it twice in theaters myself.
That movie was great. That movie was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a really good remake.
Absolutely. This one's got a big cast. We're not going to talk about everyone. We'll try and mention kind of key players in this one. Starring Lupita Nyong'o as Adelaide or Red. Also starred in Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Black Panther, and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. 12 Years a Slave, which she won the Academy Award for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role.
Yeah.
And of course, she will be starring in the upcoming A Quiet Place Day 1. I haven't seen a trailer for A Quiet Place yet, but I assume, I assume I kind of want to leave it spoiler free.
There's two trailers released for it. They look fantastic. It looks so
and I want to be just completely blown away in theaters.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But from the posters that I've seen, I'm just assuming that she's going to be the lead in A Quiet Place.
Yeah, I would assume
that's my guess.
Well.
Yeah. Also starring Winston Duke as Gabe or Abraham. Also starred in The Fall Guy, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, Avengers: Infinity War, and Avengers: Endgame. Elizabeth Moss as Kitty Dahlia. Also starred in 56 episodes of The Handmaid's Tale, 2021's The French Dispatch, 92 episodes of Mad Men, 25 episodes of The West Wing, Girl Interrupted, and in an episode of Fear Itself, a television show shot in my hometown.
Really?
I remember when it was shooting downtown in my suburban hometown.
Yeah.
And it was very, very exciting.
Oh, I
don't know if her particular episode was shot in my hometown, but there was one. Yeah.
She also starred in the Invisible Man remake, I'm pretty sure.
That's right. Yeah. Just a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Also starring Tim Heidecker as Josh or Tex. I think I butchered his last name, which is shameful for me because he is, a big sketch comedian. I love sketch comedy.
It happens.
He also starred in and wrote for Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. He was in Gremlins 3, Dawn of Desmond, Bridesmaids, just to name a few. A lot of comedy stuff. And then finally, big shout out to both Shahadi Wright Joseph as Zora or Umbre, and Evan Alex as Jason and Pluto. Those kids.
Yeah, they killed it.
Wow. Not only were they great as Zora and Jason, but they were just unbelievable as their tethered counterparts.
Yeah.
Wow. We'll get into that, I'm sure, in likes and dislikes. Before we do that, though, let's talk about the synopsis, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. Adelaide Wilson and her family are attacked by mysterious figures dressed in red. Upon closer inspection, the Wilsons realize that the intruders are exact lookalikes of them.
It's a really good synopsis, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
This leads us to Kill Count.
Kill Count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, we got a kill count for us?
Yeah, bro. I'm going to tell you right now, I think we have the winner come award season. Because
move over Piranha, over Mosquito 1994.
As per the list of deaths fandom, we have a total kill count of 64,750,066 deaths, give or take, of course. But nonetheless, it is going to be a front runner for highest kill count.
How do they possibly come up with that exact number?
I don't know how they come up with that exact number, but obviously that high of a number would be the idea that the whole world got destroyed.
I was going to say, do you just take the entire population of the world and divide it by, divide it in half?
Yeah, something like that. I have
just
no idea.
Assuming
it's a very
that everyone's
number, hey?
It's just so exact. It's so bizarre. Oh, well. This leads us to one of our favorite segments of the show, likes and dislikes.
Likes, dislikes, likes, dislikes,
and everything in between. The portion of the show where we chat about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Blairski.
Yeah, buddy.
let's chat about the kills as we often do to start off likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
What did you think?
All good. The kills were all good. My favorite scene of kills is when the one family gets they all get killed within, I think, 30 seconds in their house.
Yeah.
All of them great kills, man. The blood was good, the gore was good, practical effects were great.
Yeah, the great unique weapons. I mean, we see a geode, a rock on a stick used.
Yep.
We see a beat up old boat. It's pretty excellent.
Yeah, it is. I love
Pretty
that
excellent.
boat scene too.
Another great title card to kick off.
I was just about to say the title card and the intro, just the whole intro itself back in 1986 on the piers.
It just sets the tone so well. I just want to, if I may, read the title card for this one. It reads, "There are thousands of miles of tunnels beneath the continental United States, abandoned subway stations, unused service routes, and deserted mine shafts. Many have no known purpose at all."
I like it.
Kick in. We're obviously in the past to begin. It is just so good right off the bat.
That first scene, so they're at kind of like the carnival on the pier at the beach. That's when they first give, I think, the Lost Boys a shout out, because apparently the Lost Boys is being filmed there at the exact same time.
Yeah, they shot it, to my understanding. I saw that as well. To my understanding, Lost Boys was shot at the Santa Cruz boardwalk, and they did make a nod to, hey, I think they're filming a movie over there. We should go and see if they're looking for extras.
It's just exactly what they said. Yeah.
I love that. I'm a huge pop culture guy, and I love that Jordan Peele adds a ton of pop culture into his movies. It's great.
Not only that, the daughter in that scene was wearing an awesome Jaws shirt.
Was she wearing a Jaws shirt?
I swear it was Jaws, man.
I know. You know what the thing is? I think the son is wearing the Jaws shirt, and she's wearing a Michael Jackson Thriller.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I got them mixed up. You're right.
Not only that, that's not even the best T-shirt in the scene, because the carny that she wins the Thriller shirt from is wearing a Black Flag T-shirt, one of the best hardcore bands of all time. There you have it.
Right up your alley, buddy.
$25 in a 6-pack to my name. Great scene. I love it. It totally sets the mood for the rest of the movie, which is what we love in an intro.
Yes,
if you're immediately hooked, we love it, and it immediately gets you hooked.
Yep, it really does.
I love it. The transitions in this movie are just so good. I keep thinking of that Hands Across America transition to the Santa Cruz boardwalk. It fits so well. But also that kind of that slow zoom in on the rabbits that are all caged up.
Yeah.
Obviously, the rabbits are a huge, symbol in this movie.
I never picked up on it though. Like I never picked up what that symbol was.
I maybe missed it as well. It's just so mysterious.
Yeah.
But it's so creepy. I mean, you can tell right off the bat, this movie is going to be scary as hell. That music too.
Yeah, man. The music in this movie. Okay, we're going right to the music.
Let's go to the music.
Let's go to the music. The score, just the score alone of the movie is great, but the actual soundtrack. I mean, I got 5 on it.
Oh my God.
So many times throughout this movie, and I love that song so much.
Not only do they play I Got 5 on it, but then they do at the end during kind of the choreographed fight scene between Red and Adelaide, they do it in like an orchestral version, and it's almost as good as the original song.
It's almost like a scary version of the song, but so good. They also played Fuck the Police by NWA.
Fuck the Police. They did what else did they do? Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
It's so good. The music, the soundtrack is great, and then the original score just as good. It adds so much to this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a movie about doppelgangers. I want to get your first impression of our first glimpses at the tethered family.
When they're standing like the shadows when they're standing at the end of the driveway.
Yeah.
Creepy, man. It is so eerie, that scene.
That shot that scene is one of my favorite moments in recent years in movies, just in
Yeah.
general, not even horror movies, but just that, there's a family on our driveway and they all kind of look out the window and they're just standing there. It's got to be, one of people's biggest fears is just having strangers in the middle of the night wearing matching clothing, just standing ominously on your driveway.
But at the very beginning, like right away, they don't realize that these people look like them because they are kind of hidden in the shadows a bit. It takes a minute, but I can't remember. I think it's the son that says, "They're us." And
what a great line.
So good. Name of the movie right there, Us.
Not only that, but I also really love that although they are their doppelgangers, they are slightly distorted.
Yeah, they are a little different.
There's clearly a lot off about all of them, but visually, they're slightly distorted. Or in some cases, like I'm thinking Pluto, quite a bit more distorted than the human counterpart.
Yeah, he's so burnt in the face. He's wearing a mask most of the movie, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. And that original showdown in the house between the family and the tethered, where each family member is facing off against their other half.
Yeah.
I love it. And it leads to one of my favorite lines of the movie that I'll mention in Line of the Night, but it's intense. It's really like, okay, this is it. This is the moment where, the family members are going to, they're going to die.
Yeah.
And they maybe don't, but it's like, this is their final moments. And it's just like that survival instinct, but it's really cool that they're facing off against their tethered counterparts. I really like that.
It's a long scene too. Like it goes for a while. The whole time it is edge of your seat entertaining. And I also love how when that scene finally does come to an end, what does it do? It goes to that other family's house where the exact same thing takes place.
Yeah. I also thought this was Lupita Nyong'o's best scene.
Yeah.
The bit where the family's sitting down to the couch and she's basically explaining to them who they are and why they're here.
Yeah.
And I love it. And it's so, again, it's very mysterious. It's very cryptic.
Yeah.
But from her eyes, from her tone, the way she's delivering this is like a character who's kind of speaking for all the tethered.
Yeah.
And you can just see the pain, and they're ready to live above ground. It's crazy. That scene is fantastic.
So good, man.
Yeah, I love it.
So good.
I kind of love how darkly comical this movie is.
Yeah. Yeah,
and like obviously
that's Jordan Peele for you, right?
You'd expect nothing less from Jordan Peele. You would hope it. You would, encourage it.
Yeah.
But it's great, and it has his writing all over it. The scene where the family is arguing over who had the highest kill count.
Yeah.
And then of course all of the stuff with Ophelia during the bloodbath with NWA and the Beach Boys, and of course, Jason using a geode as a weapon. It's just like, it's not like in your face comedy, but it has these moments where it's like, you can't help but laugh. And it's usually a good laugh.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as I said, that's just Jordan Peele. That's Jordan Peele right there.
It's so good. Blairski, are you a fan of twist endings?
I usually am.
Yeah.
The ending in this movie to me was a little hectic and somewhat confusing.
Sure.
But and I also have a bone to pick about their underground tunnels. Just how come no one's been down there before? Like they seem to come up in and out of it no problem. Like they've been down there all these years, the entire world of doppelgangers. Like, why hasn't it been discovered? But that's probably me overthinking it a bit too much. But
well, I always just chalked it up for well, there's an escalator to get up to the surface, and if you've ever tried to run up an escalator, you know why they're probably living underground. That's my guess.
I know, but was that escalator active? Was it running? I can't remember.
I honestly, I can't remember. I feel like it was. I feel like it was, but I don't know. It does. I mean, the ending does get a little hectic. It doesn't feel rushed in any way. It's
it's definitely not rush. It's just
everything. There's so much information that comes so quickly.
I was just about
Uh,
to say it's a lot to take in.
yeah. I loved the twist ending, but I think it maybe took me to my second, maybe even to my third viewing of this movie to fully grasp that twist ending.
I still
Um,
haven't fully grasped it, I don't think.
I mean, in general, I feel like this movie, it's just so smart, um, and thought provoking and hilarious. But I also think that for the most part, it's super accessible.
Yeah.
I think this movie has something for everyone. And again, even though I've seen it, I don't know, 5 times maybe, I find new things to like every time I watch it, or something that I've missed every time I watched it.
You've seen this 5 times?
I think I've seen it 5 times. It's
Man.
it's my most watched Jordan. I mean, he only has the 3 movies out,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
my most watched Jordan Peele movie.
That was my second watch. I saw it in theaters, and that was
Yeah.
only my second watch. So
So I also saw this one in theaters. What did you think about watching it in the theaters? Do you remember what the crowd reaction was, or what you were thinking when you were watching it for the first time?
man, if my memory serves me right, it was actually a pretty quiet night. Just not a
Yeah.
lot of people there.
Yeah.
But I remember both me and my wife enjoying it. We both
Yeah.
left the theater quite pleased.
Yeah. It's yeah, his movies are fun to watch
They are fun.
in
They are fun.
theaters. Yeah,
They are
in
fun.
theaters especially. Anything else you really, really liked about this one? Really weren't crazy about?
Okay, so the only thing that I wasn't crazy about, which I just talked about, the kind of the ending, the whole underground tunnel situation. We've talked about basically all I've written down for likes, except one thing we have not covered yet, really, is the acting in this
Oh
movie.
yeah, what are we doing?
The
Yeah,
acting was absolutely phenomenal. The
yeah.
fact that each character, like each actor, is playing two different characters and doing so good at it, like so good at it.
They're just not even, the two characters are just so
Different.
distinctly different.
Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, they wear their hair to the other side. It's like, no, they're distinctly different. But then there's
But the same.
something that it's like, there's something, but yeah, but they're the same. There's something there
Mhm.
that it's like they're the same. Yeah,
They're so
it's
good. They're so good.
so. Who was your favorite in this movie? Who was your all star for this movie?
Ah, my favorite character for sure is probably Red.
So good. Yeah.
Like so good. I really also liked what was Ombre's was Ombre the tethered?
That was the daughter. Zora was her name.
But which was the tethered version? Was that Ombre?
Umbre.
Yeah, I also
Yeah.
like the character Ombre as well. Those are
I
probably
mean,
my two main characters.
the tethered were so good. I mean, Lupita Nyong'o as Red, but also as Adelaide, just perfect. I loved Winston Duke as Gabe,
He's
the
funny,
dad.
man.
He was
Yeah,
just
he's
like
funny.
so lovable, and it was just like, oh, that is the dad who it's like the kids probably just roll their eyes at all the time, but he just seems like a ton of fun.
I love at the beginning that scene when they're standing on the road. He's trying to be tough. He's trying to be so tough, but you can tell he's so scared, and it made it comical for me.
Another great scene where you can visually see his change, where he
Yeah.
is putting on this tough guy act, where when he first comes out of the house, he's without a weapon and he's trying to talk to them, you know, uh, just kind of questioning what they're doing.
Yeah, why are
And
you
then when
here?
he realizes, oh, they're a threat, and he goes in and gets the bat and comes back out, it's like, oh, this is a different person.
Yeah.
And it seems like this is a kind of, this is the character he plays. He doesn't play often, but it's like to get his point across and to, almost scare the tethered family away. And
Which
it doesn't at all in the slightest.
Doesn't
Yeah.
work at all.
No, not a little bit. I want to talk about lastly from me.
Okay.
I only have a couple more, but the ending, the choreographed fight scene that I had mentioned a little bit earlier, great,
Yeah. Very
so
good.
great. It just kind of hammers home. It's like, oh, she was a dancer. She was a dancer, and it feels very much like a dance, especially with the "I Got Five on It" orchestral version.
Great song.
And then finally, that final aerial shot of the movie with the tethered hand in hand. doing that hands across the world.
Yeah.
It was what a great shot in. And you just see the police helicopters, and it's just like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, they've taken over at that point. I think that's where they get that high kill count I said earlier.
Yeah. That's all I got. Should we move on?
Right. Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Let's move on. Okay, this leads us to one of our favorite segments of the show. Lessons we learned from watching 2019's Us.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The portion of the show where we discuss the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski, did you learn a single thing from watching Us?
I did. One's short and sweet, one's a little longer. I learned the importance of always keeping an eye on your children in heavily populated public areas such as a beach or a carnival. I also learned that when my food is warm and tasty, my doppelganger's is raw and bloody. I learned on Christmas morning when I received soft, cushy, and wonderful toys. My doppelganger's toys are sharp, cold, and slices through their fingers when they try and play with them. And finally, I learned that when my beautiful baby girl was born, my doppelganger's own daughter came out a monster.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's a lot to read.
I learned a few things here to go along with your first point. Yeah, the game Whack-A-Mole can be very addicting, but also very distracting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's something that I learned. Candy apples are overrated. That is my hot take from the beginning of the movie. Little Adelaide throws her candy apple to the ground, and I agree. Get those away from me.
I you know what I don't mind? There was a good caramel.
Oh, you do you?
Yeah. Not candy though.
I can't be bothered. It's too much work. No, thank you. So I wanted to write this one down. Jeremiah 11:11.
Yeah.
Which is the guy who was holding the sign. I wanted to know what that Bible verse was, Jeremiah 11:11.
Yeah.
And it reads, "Therefore, thus says the Lord, behold, I am bringing disaster upon them that they cannot escape. Though they cry to me, I will not listen to them." That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that goes so well with the movie.
That is some Old Testament shit.
yeah, man.
I learned that the phrase "I got 5 on it" means to pay half of a dime bag with another person.
You didn't just learn that.
Okay, when you point a finger at someone, you have 3 pointing back at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's right.
I also learned anus isn't a cuss word. And then finally, a hide key is a very white person thing. I love that. This leads us to another one of our favorite segments, Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski, there's a lot of great lines in this one. What do you got?
There is. I've got 2 here. The first one, Adelaide Wilson says, "They look exactly like us. They think like us. They know where we are. We need to move and keep moving. They won't stop until they kill us or we kill them." I thought that was a great line.
So good.
My last line of the night is when the Wilson family is driving in their car and the son, Jason, says to his sister, "Kiss my anus, Zora." You kind of just talked about this.
Yeah.
To which his parents were both like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." And then Jason replies, "What? Anus isn't even a cuss word." To which the father, Gabe, replies, "Why are we even talking about anuses? I would have actually preferred you to use a curse word in this case." That whole scene and dialogue is hilarious.
Really good scene. Kind of hammers home the family dynamic that they have. It's great. I've got quite a few here. Adelaide says, all my life I felt like she's still coming for me. I love it. Jason, of course, says there's a family in our driveway. Adelaide says, tell me you did not just reference Home Alone. Anytime Home Alone is brought up in a movie, I'm going to mention it. It's great.
I'm okay with that.
And then Red has some great lines. She says, how it must have been to grow up with the sky. Oh. She also says, and just think, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have danced at all. Yeah, I thought that was great.
That's a really creepy line, man.
This is another one from Red. It is my favorite. I think it's probably the favorite line of the movie for me when she says to Zora, little girl, run. So creepy.
So creepy.
And then finally, Gabe says to the tethered family, what are you people? To which Red responds, we're Americans.
Yeah.
So great. So great. Okay, this leads us to our final segment of the show. Some might say it's possibly our favorite.
Yeah, quite possible, I would say.
Of course, that possible favorite is Celebrity Lookalike Time.
Celebrity Lookalike Time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle. Blairski, for the first time ever of doing this podcast, I mean, we discussed celebrity doppelgangers in a movie about doppelgangers.
Yeah, right.
Why don't you kick this one off?
All right, I just got two, but the character Umbre kind of reminded me of a young Willow Smith. Will Smith's daughter. Finally, this one is probably way out there. We talked about it a bit at work. The character Pluto reminded me of circa 2005 Sid Wilson, aka DJ Starscream, aka Number Zero from Slipknot, when he switched his infamous black gas mask to the white skull mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminded me of him.
Number Zero. Okay, we were trying to figure out what number he was.
He's Number Zero.
Number Zero. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to build off of that. I'm going to say Pluto reminded me of Number 8, aka Corey Taylor from Slipknot. A couple different iterations of his mask, I thought.
Yeah, especially his newest one, I think.
Yeah, and then finally, the character Gabe reminded me of actor-director Tyler Perry. It was the glasses, for sure.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then I guess this leads us to our final rating for 2019's Us. Blairski, out of 5 miles of doppelgangers joining hands in an effort to end world hunger, what do you give 2019's Us?
I'm actually going to give it 4 miles of doppelgangers joining hands in an effort to end world hunger out of 5.
Excellent. I'm going to go a little bit higher, 4.5 miles of doppelgangers joining hands in an effort to end world hunger out of 5. This movie kicks ass.
It's a good movie, man.
It's got it all. It's got it all.
It's my favorite Peele movie so far.
Okay. Yeah, it's so tough to say. It's so tough
because you're a big fan of Nope, right?
Loved Nope. I loved Get Out. It kind of feels like Get Out was my favorite until I saw Us, and then Us was my favorite until I saw Nope, and it's just they're all perfect. Yeah, they're all perfect. This was a great one to talk about. It's been a fun month.
It has been.
We've watched some great movies.
We have,
and now
it feels like so long ago.
I know it's been a long month, yeah. But now we're on to the next one, and I'm excited for June. Lots going on in June. June is probably
busy month, man.
It's probably our busiest month compared or next October. I would say throughout the year.
Yeah.
So
totally agree.
Looking forward to it. We'll chat more about it in later episodes. But before we do that, and until we do that, this has been Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Reviews That Scare. Make sure you check out our link tree at linktree/Reviews That Scare. That's linktr.ee/reviewsatScare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsatScare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich. A proud member of Pod Nation TV.